Hello, and welcome back to AM66. This video is going to be a lot more comprehensive. We're going to be covering EchoBase from a basic standpoint for the admins on a server. And admins are those that have the Echo Commander tag, the ability to interact with the bot of EchoBase, and be able to push, customize orders, all that stuff for the rest of the guild. So this video is for you. But for members, I also welcome you to watch this video so you can kind of understand some of the processes behind how this tool works. So this is going to be an educational video. There's going to be a lot of stuff in here. I will do my best to keep the structure. Let's just jump right in. So the first place you're going to want to go is after you install the EchoBase bot on your Discord server. I'm not going to show that in this video, but when your server admin gets the bot integrated and set up, we can then move to actually setting up the EchoBase bot for pushing orders to the guild. So we're going to go to echobase.app, and that'll bring you to this home page. So on this page, you will go ahead and put in your ally code, and this screen loaded fairly quickly for me. When you first set this up, this could take a couple minutes from what I found. It could take longer. I usually just see it take about 2 minutes before it loads up. And we're going to cover just the Territory Battle Platoon assigner. So I'm going to go click on here, and it brings you to this page. Now, if you are like me and you're going to come to this page a lot, I would save this into your bookmarks page. So echobase.app/platoon assigner. And then that will just jump you to the site. I'm a very basic user of EchoBase, so I'm going to share with you what I know, enough to get us started, and then be able to customize a little bit so that if you want to mess around with it yourself and learn things as you go, later on I hope to release a video that goes into more advanced features. But on this page, when I first loaded up, the first thing that I wanted to go to was the settings. I found the settings to be probably the best place to go. We're going to just start from the top to the bottom. In the general tag, we have who is going to be informed by Territory Battle orders. Since our Discord has multiple communities, it's not just Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, we have this set to just Galaxy of Heroes members. The include mentions is important because this makes it easier for people to be notified. When the orders get pushed out, it's going to make this wall of text. And we chose our Territory Battle channel on a Discord server. When it makes this wall of text, you can see the app mentions is being used here. And that makes it easier for someone like myself to scroll down and look for the big yellow block. That means I'm being tagged in something, and then I can just look for my name in here. So that is a quality of life for the user side, the members, to be able to see what's going on more easily. So jumping back in here, send DM to each member. I have this one checked. If the member register on the Discord server, when they register their ally code in the Discord server with the EchoStation bot, what they're doing is communicating to the bot that my ally code in-game is associated with this Discord name on Discord server. And I'm a visual person, so I like to show rather than tell. We go down here, we're going to drop down to our bot command. So that we have our bot command set up for just this purpose, and that way we can leave the Territory Battle chat free mostly for discussions about Territory Battle and push the orders as well. So within the bot commands, you can open up a list of orders by doing / command help, and it'll give you this list. Here I can register, and so we have an option that says register player. To register player, then I just put in 684266669, my ally code, and this bot is going to register me. I have already been registered, aka linked my Discord name with the EchoBase program. This is how every member can register. And when they register, that is how you get the feature for app mentions and DMs to work. And by DMs, I mean I can go into my private message, and here's my orders sent only to me, so that I don't have to read through the wall of text. So I hope that makes sense. Registering or linking your Discord profile with that of your ally code, it's really more just quality of life. It's quality of life on top of quality of life with these settings, and it's going to make your life and the lives of your members much more convenient with the game's features. Discord channel, this is where you'd want the wall of text to be pushed, for lack of a better word. We chose the Territory Battle channel, and that's just where we keep it. Now, you as admins, if you want to leave custom orders, this is what you can put so that every single time it pushes something out, it'll display this message. This is more just a reminder. It's easy for this message to get buried within the wall of text though. This is near the top. If I go back into the Discord box, the wall of text is going to be all the way up here. Okay, so that order is listed right here at the top. Kinda easy to miss when you're just breezing through. So we found that it's useful to also manually send in reminders to the guild. Please, do this if you want to have your order. The way we do it is we just ask our guild members to wait 12 hours, regardless of what territory battle we are in, because that gives everyone a chance to fill their platoons. I've covered this in other videos, I won't go into too much detail here. So that completes this first screen here that you'll see setting up. It's really just setting up how do we want to communicate to the guild. Now the schedule is pretty important. So right now we are on phase 4 of Hot Territory Battle. By clicking on this, I'm going to deactivate the schedule for phase 5. Clicking it again, it'll bring up this map. For Hoth Territory Battle, our guild is able to easily just clear get at least a star in each zone, and the way we play for a Hoth is we just move on. We don't do any kind of tricky, don't get a star here, focus on this zone, and then next phase we go all in on the one that we don't do that for a Hoth. For GeoTV, that's absolutely the case. It gets tricky. Sometimes there's a lot of damage control that has to be done, and you gotta change your focuses on the fly. So for Hoth, it's gonna just be a solid wall of green, and you hit the green button there. It says, okay, it's locked in. So when phase 5 begins, then it's gonna push out the schedule for all the phase 5 zones. To show you an example for Geo, we may have a situation where it's phase 3, but on phase 3 we just unlocked phase 2 zone, if that makes sense. And we weren't able to get very far in any of this, so I would say most likely it's going to be something like that. Well, for phase 3 I guess let's just pretend. So the next time we start phase 3 of GeoTV, we have these zones open. So this is more of a visual graph. If you go back, if you imagine the Territory Battle map, it's going to match the zone on that map. But I'm going to back out. I don't want to mess with that too much. And we run assignments 4 hours in advance. You'll see here that the text here says to avoid server traffic delays, it's recommended to keep the assignments about 3 hours in advance. And that depending on how many requests that the server has to request to process through, this gives it time to crunch it out. We do 4 hours just because it gives our members enough heads up going into the next phase. So that's it for schedule. This is all. Before a territory battle begins, you'll want to start filling in the green slots for that territory battle. Otherwise, you'll see that no orders have been posted for the first phase because somebody forgot to set it, and I know because that somebody was me many times. So in the last phase, we have the TV. This is to customize, I want to say, the order of priority that the bot determines on how to use your guild's roster. A unit is considered rare if the guild has no more than this many. If we're running short on a unit that's needed, it's going to call it rare. And it'll be easier to see how that works when I get into the actual portal graphic design that breaks down what it looks like. if you don't have a lot of that unit like Wampas or Hermit Yodas, this is a way to adjust how you want the program to denote if it's rare or not. You can also define custom rare units. We don't do this. We've actually kept a lot of this standard up here. But if you know that Hermit Yoda is pretty rare, it'll automatically label that unit as rare. And it could also be, if you know a unit is going to be pretty popular, like Ahsoka Tano, for example. Most people, if they have Ahsoka, they're going to use Ahsoka in their teams rather than send her on a platoon. Well, we'll get into stuff like that in a different video, but for now, when you have the rare unit screen, you want to set the threshold of what you're comfortable with, and then we move on to the assignments layout. So for the assignment layout, this is just how do you want to portray this information when it spits out that wall text in Discord. So by showing legend/guides, what that means is it's giving you this section here. The legend is just a reminder of what these symbols mean when we start looking at these phases. So like in this phase, according to EchoBase, we should be able to, if everybody abides by their platoon deployment, we should be able to get all of the ship platoons filled. In the middle, we're going to have issues, and the way we have our bot set up is it's only going to set up even numbered platoons. So if we were able to fill platoon 2 but not 6, it'll probably shut off 2 in favor of maximizing those units elsewhere. But as an officer, it's also nice to see, okay, we're not going to be able to get these units, and I like to use that as a reminder of maybe I should take a look at my roster and see if I can unlock them or promote them. And you'll know what you're shy on because, strangely enough, at the very bottom of this whole thing, it'll say we need more of these units. So we need more 5-star Roast Tico, we need 1 of those. Vanguard Chewbacca, we need 2 of those. And that is what this message, the assignments layout, that is what this does, is it shows the legend and guides. Public assignments, yes, it just means that it makes it visible to everyone. I assume. We never actually mess with this checkbox. Sort by player, you can do it by location. So in top and platoon 1, this is everybody's assignment. If that's easier for you, then by all means, do it. Same with units, it'll go by, this unit, we need it assigned here. We found that player is the easiest way to go, and even if you forget to set that, if you go within the Discord server, you can click on these buttons, or the reaction symbols, and it'll sort the list. So if I do location, this is what it's gonna look like. Platoon 4 bottom, and then it'll break down, okay, this member needs to put a Paplu in platoon 4. This member covers Kanan Jarrus. That seems a little tedious to go through for me. So if we go to player, it keeps everything in order. It makes it nice and easy. I'll show you what unit look like, just if you're curious. And that's what it does. It's by alphabetical order. You got ships mixed in with units. So I'll go back to player and have it sorted. Show the guild shortest message. That was the message I showed you earlier where it said, hey, we're short this many Road Ticos, Vander, Chewbacca. I find that to be very useful. These are all standard. When you first load up EchoBase, this is all standard except for the sort by. Now for the advanced, this one is actually something we recently messed with and have used to great success. With our guild, 100 million GP guild, we have come to realize that Gear 7 characters are kind of the new Gear 1. For the longest time, I had Gear 1 as the standard, which is what it was when the program first boots up. In the advanced section, you can have the algorithm prioritize units that are least needed by the player among these other options. Only focus on even number of platoons. The benefit to this is that instead of it being like, oh, we can fill 5 platoons here, but we might be short 1 in the other zone, Now, this means that if we can only do 2 platoons, then we'll just send orders for 2 platoons, and that allows players to not have to sacrifice their squads to break things apart. Chase after platoons will not be able to finish. Automatically assigned to this, again, self-explanatory. You can choose a level range. We chose 50. We can probably even go all the way up to 80 if we wanted to, but 50 was a good one, and automatically assign units that are Tier 7 or less. What this means is if a player has a unit with either or both of these conditions true in their roster, the program is going to automatically prioritize that as the unit to use. So in my roster, let me bring this up here really quick. I go to the right one, gear tier. I'm going to scroll down. When it looks at my roster, it's going to look at everything that is Tier 7 and or level 50 or below. And I believe this is Tier 7. So it'll take a look at my roster and say, you know what? According to the algorithm, you're saying everyone from Biston onwards can be chucked at platoon. Now remember, you can only do 10 units per zone as a limit. You can't just fill a platoon all by yourself. So it'll take a look at this and say, all right, so all these, here's some level 1. I have a bunch of units unlocked at Gear 1. Wouldn't recommend it because it really inflates your GP. Gear 1, level 1, it'll chuck these in there as well. And that is how you can customize the priority that this spot chooses to follow. Okay, so we went over a lot of menu options. May not be the most exciting part. The coolest part of this whole thing for me is when we start looking at the actual, like the breakdown of our entire roster. So if I go to phase 4, this will show what this bot is looking at. This is pulling information off of SWGOH and saying this guild has all of these units, and based on the selections made. So if a unit was considered rare, if we only had 3 or less over the necessary. So in here it'll say, wow, when we looked at your guild for this phase, so if you hover over the number, then it'll say the guild has a total of 4 TIE Reapers. And for this phase, 1 is needed for all of the platoons that are assigned across the entire phase. It's listed as rare because you have 4, it needs 1, so that's 3 left. That gives us leeway. So if a player actually needed a TIE Reaper for a dark side Hawk TB for a combat mission, then you can work with other players and say, okay, well, I'd like to use this. And other players can jump in and say, yeah, sure, I'll throw mine in. Something that's probably more relatable. So here we are, you can see the even numbered platoon. It's completely ignoring the deploys in here because there's no point. Don't have any rare units to show here. If you're short a unit, then it'll have a negative number. It'll tell you -2. That means your guild needs 2 more in order to fill all the platoons. And we would see that because you can see here Vandor Chewbacca is in the red. We don't have any of those units. We don't have enough of units in the guild. So Vandor Chewbacca is in the red. If we had these active and visible, then you'll see a -2 saying that we are short 2. Rotico would have a -1. And it'd be in the red numbers. That's what that denotes. And you can always hover over the numbers. Here we go. You can always hover over the number and it'll tell you exactly that. That covers the basic of how this looks. You can look ahead at other phases. This is what phase 5 looks like. So you see we're starting to get fewer and fewer units available. You can actually manually block off. So you can say ignore this platoon and it'll lock out that platoon and allow you to keep the clutter down, for lack of a better word. Because we don't want to send a whole bunch of deploy orders for these platoons if we didn't need to. So these drop-down gives you all sorts of different options to play around with, and I encourage you to play around with them because, as you can tell, I'm still getting familiar with this situation of this bot, but it's an amazing tool. It's really cool being able to have a visual element coupled with a menu element to customize and utilize your roster's effectiveness to its full extent. The last thing that I want to cover, go back to page 4, is with our guild, it's important that if you need to take time away from the game, this is not a job. It's supposed to be fun, but real world stuff happens and they're going to be out of town for a few days, no cell phone signal. That's fine. There could also be guild members that are not feeling well. They've let us know. That's important to us that you take care of yourself and, not let a game take over your life. So in that case, we can do this drop down, and you'll see these minus buttons here. And what this means is some of these members we have exempted from the bot to use. So if the unit is going to be AFK, or maybe in some cases the member hasn't joined the guild server, and we don't know how they don't have any way of getting the orders, then we'll exempt it to kind of help to have a more reliable approach to getting these platoons done. So if you know somebody's going to be gone for a week and hit ignore roster, it takes them out of the equation, and then it lets you work with the guild's existing roster and go from there. You're not being like, oh, okay, that's right, somebody's out of town, we have no way of filling this platoon that we thought we could fill. That's the basics. I know that was a lot of information. So to recap, absolute basics is settings, read through these menu options, see what works best for you. So who's being notified, where are the orders being pushed, and do you want to have a custom order in here? In the schedule, this is important to set up, especially before the territory battle actually happens. So if you know that Geonosis Darkside is coming up, then you want to make sure that you have these selected and begin programming going forward. Now you can have phase 1 all ready to go, and then see how that goes, and maybe 6 hours before the next phase, you jump into the web portal and you tap on phase 2 and say, okay, most likely we're not going to have it. You'll know what would be the better way to go. So make sure you have what ones you want to run the EchoBase for, when you want the orders pushed out. And then in this one, I'll be honest with you, I actually left this one alone for the longest time. I just kept the default on here. But as you become more familiar, you'll be able to change the settings as you see fit. Only other thing I can think of is, if you can become familiar with the commands in Discord, feel free to play around with them. So here are the / commands. And I think that's it for the basics. The most important thing you can do as an admin is just play around with the bot. As I said before, a lot of the things that were present when you first get into the bot, that seemed to work just fine. Really the only thing that needed to be done was go into schedule and just click on the phases that you'll be doing for that specific territory battle. If you are in a situation where, like me, you forgot to set up phase 1 before territory battle started, and now everyone's saying, hey, where's my orders? Or you need to make changes in the middle of a territory battle and be like, no, we can't do this, let's, whatever needs to be changed, we need to get it done. You don't want to wait for the 4 hours before the next phase, then it's too late. If you're in the current phase, what you can do is go to the phase you're in. So we are in phase 4. In the example I use, let's say we're in phase 1. and forgot to push out orders because I, again, didn't go up the schedule and I did not have phase 1 selected. You can check this really quick, but really it's just load it up and make sure you have the green filled in and hit submit. So hitting the green submit button will manually push the orders out. Be aware of that. You don't want to spam the wall of text again if everything was done correctly. But if you need to make changes, this is the way to make correction and manually push it to your server. So everything we discussed is also available on your phone. So it's a web-based portal, and it works really well on the phone. I actually use it on my phone quite a bit, especially when I'm on the go, because I'm one of the few admins in my server that can push this out. But my hope is that with this video, you can educate more admin, more officers, so that not just all on you. And this could be just an overall overview, visual aid to educate your admins on the use of this tool. So with that said, I'd be interested in hearing feedback, your thoughts, questions even, and if there's some that I can't answer, I will do my best to do research and understand. But I hope you find this useful. So with that said, thank you very much for watching, and as always, take care.